Hello everyone. Today I will tell you a story. The story is titled, Corky in the Sunlight by the Window. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you appreciate me. You can skip this if you don't and oppose. Like this video. Thank you very much. The story begins as follows. Every morning in our house begins quietly, but never empty. Even before the kettle clicks on or the phone alarm dares to make a sound, sunlight slips through the small window by the living room and lands gently on the floor. It always arrives the same way, slow, warm, and patient. And somehow, Corky always knows when it's coming. Corky is my dog. He isn't big, and he isn't particularly impressive if you judge dogs by tricks or speed or pedigree. He doesn't fetch perfectly. He doesn't sit immediately when told. Sometimes he pretends not to hear his name at all. But when the sunlight appears, Corky becomes the most focused creature in the world. He lifts his head from his bed, one ear slightly bent, eyes half open. He watches the light like it's an old friend visiting without knocking. Slowly, with no rush at all, he stands up, stretches his front legs long enough to make his back curve like a question mark, and walks straight into the golden square on the floor. That spot by the window is his favorite place. Not because it's soft, it's just wood. Not because it's warm, it's only warm for a while. But because it feels alive. Corky circles the light once, twice, then lowers himself into it, carefully aligning his body as if the sun were a blanket made just for him. I watch him from the kitchen, coffee in hand, already tired from thoughts about work, deadlines, and messages waiting to be answered. Corky, on the other hand, has no interest in any of that. His eyes close, his breathing slows, his chest rises and falls in perfect rhythm with the morning. Sometimes I think the sunlight recognizes him too. It never rushes away. It lingers, stretching across his fur, turning it a softer shade, like it wants to remember him. I sit down on the floor near him, even though there's a couch right behind me. Corky doesn't move. He only opens one eye, checks that it's me, and closes it again. His tail taps the floor once. His way of saying, "You're allowed to be here." In those moments, nothing extraordinary happens. No photos, no big emotions, no life-changing events. Just a dog, a human, and a quiet agreement to share the morning without asking anything from each other. And somehow, that feels like enough. Corky doesn't understand clocks, but he understands routines better than most people I know. He knows when the sun shifts from the floor to the wall. He knows when the window light starts to fade. And he knows exactly when it's time to move, even if I'm still sitting there, lost in my own head. When the sunlight begins to thin, Corky stands up without hesitation. He shakes himself, ears flopping, and looks at me like he's reminding me that moments don't last forever, and that's okay. He walks to the window and sits there, staring outside. The street isn't special. A few passing motorbikes, leaves moving in the wind, neighbors going about their lives. But Corky watches it all like it's a slow movie made just for him. His head tilts slightly when a sound catches his attention. His nose lifts when the air changes. Sometimes I talk to him, not in a dramatic way, just little things. "Looks warm today, huh?" He doesn't answer, of course, but his ears twitch, and somehow that feels like a response. Later in the day, when the house fills with noise, calls, typing, the hum of responsibility, Corky becomes my shadow. He lies near my chair, his body pressed against my feet. If I move, he adjusts. If I sigh, he looks up. If I forget to take a break, he reminds me by resting his chin on my knee, heavy and undeniable. He doesn't judge me for being busy. He doesn't demand constant attention. He just stays. Steady, present, loyal in the quietest way. In the afternoon, the sunlight returns, thinner now, sneaking in at a different angle. Corky notices immediately. He gets up, walks back to the window, and waits. The light doesn't quite reach the floor anymore, so he sits halfway in it, halfway out, like he's negotiating with the day. I realize then that Corky doesn't chase happiness. He notices it when it arrives. He enjoys it while it stays. And when it leaves, he doesn't cling. He simply adjusts. That might be the most important thing he teaches me without ever knowing it. As evening arrives and the sunlight finally disappears, Corky curls up near me, no longer chasing the light, but still holding onto the warmth of the day. Watching him, I realize how much animals quietly shape the way we live, if we're willing to learn from them. Corky teaches me that happiness doesn't need to be loud or complicated. It can be as simple as a warm patch on the floor, a familiar presence nearby, or a moment of rest without guilt. In a world where humans often rush, plan, and worry about what comes next, animals remind us to stay where our feet and hearts are. Our relationship is built on trust, patience, and shared silence. He depends on me for care, safety, and love. I depend on him for grounding, comfort, and reminders to slow down. This balance is what makes the bond between humans and animals so powerful. It's not ownership, it's companionship. In daily life, we can learn from this. Take time to notice small joys. Respect the rhythms of those around you, human or animal. Care without expecting reward. Be present without distraction. When we treat animals with kindness and attention, they give us something invaluable in return, a gentler way to live. And sometimes, all it takes to feel whole again is sitting beside someone who's happy just to share the light with you.